Divorce. Property settlements following divorce. Well, they frequently happen, but sometimes there are unique little wrinkles, and that takes us to this week's case. It involves a couple in Nebraska. They were going through a divorce. The judge that they were appearing before said, hey, both of you, even though you're going to be divorced, need to file a joint income tax statement here at the end of the year. Now, the wife objected. She said, hey, you, judge, don't have the authority to order me to file a joint income tax with soon-to-be my ex-husband. Well, the case went up on appeal. And on appeal, the court heard the arguments. They said, well, a judge has certain inherent authority. But, you know what? The IRS, when it gets a joint tax return, has the ability to either accept it as a joint tax return or deny it as a joint tax return if they feel one of the parties was coerced into signing it as a joint tax return, such as under order of a court. Well, then the IRS may choose to disregard that joint tax return and order the two parties to file individual returns. And the Supreme Court of Nebraska, having looked at that, said, therefore, honestly, it doesn't make any difference what the judge orders, because the judge doesn't know how this is really going to play out, since he or she doesn't know what the IRS is going to do. Therefore, we are finding, the Nebraska Supreme Court said, that a judge cannot compel someone, cannot order someone to file a joint tax return. Okay, well, what does this in fact teach us? It teaches us something very interesting, and that is the IRS apparently does possess the ability to decide whether or not to accept a joint tax return. And if one of the parties says, I don't want to file that joint tax return, I'm only doing it because I'm under order of the court to do so, the IRS can decide it will not accept it as a joint tax return. Now, as the Supreme Court of Nebraska pointed out, some states deal with this differently, and they do, in fact, allow their judges to order that joint tax returns be filed. But, as the court also observed, that doesn't prevent the IRS from rejecting those joint tax returns. So this is a little bit of a wrinkle that's pretty unique. A little bit of a wrinkle that's pretty unique. So if unfortunately you're in the midst of a divorce or considering a divorce, you may want to have a very heart-to-heart discussion with your attorney as to what would be the best thing to do in your situation. Because maybe the IRS isn't going to accept that joint tax return even though you were ordered to file it. Well, we bring you this case as we bring you cases every week so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.